You are listening to the Eskimo Empire Podcast, a proud member of the Canadian Football Podcast Network.
Got any goods?
The yard lines were painted nice and straight.
Yeah. Perfect. Welcome to the Empire. It's the Eskimo Empire Podcast.
This is Trevor Harris.
Hey, how you doing? This is number 58, Travis Bond.
This is Christoph Malomba Chimanga.
Hey there, this is your co-host, Kenny Stafford.
Hey, this is Ryan King.
Calvin McCarty.
And you are listening to...
You're listening to the Eskimos Empire.
Listening to the Eskimo Empire Podcast.
The Eskimo Empire Podcast. Hope you guys enjoy listening.
Welcome back to the Turf District for the Eskimo Empire Podcast, and we are a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB. I'm Andrew, and I'm joined in the Turf District tonight by my Calgary masochist friend, Commissioner Kayla. Well, that's really what it is. Every time we go down there, we don't win.
It's true.
So,
yeah.
You know, it's we must have some type of masochism to do that, but yes.
We do, yeah. Just love getting the knife to the heart.
Yeah, isn't it great?
Little twist at the end. It's just so satisfactory.
Exactly. Well, you're going to be negative and I'm going to be positive this week.
Sure.
Sure. Going to try that. See how this works.
That's fair.
How was the rest of your weekend?
Great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good.
I have a handy tip if anyone goes kayaking.
Yes.
Don't wear jeans.
You don't say.
No.
Not comfy?
Well, they're comfy, but you get wet. My butt was wet for like 4 or 5 hours because jeans don't dry quickly.
Our guest biting his tongue till it bleeds.
That's so great. It was just sopping. Joe's going to explode. His face is turning red.
All right, let's bring him in, shall we? Making his triumphant return to the podcast. It is
explosive return.
Exactly. It is very much a podcast supporter, and of course, Twitter smartass, the one and only Joe.
Hi. So, just going back to what she said, that explains that photo. Okay, that explains that one photo while you were just like...
I know, that's why it's so funny, because like...
Again, video element. You need.
Someone actually was like, oh, you peed yourself? I'm like, yes,
yeah,
that's what I did.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's I'm like...
Very nice.
I was going to make a smart-ass comment on that Instagram photo, but like, did you...
Did you do this on purpose? Or...
That's why I posted it, because everyone's going to be like, I don't know what happened. But really, I was kayaking, and the... should just
yeah, but you didn't preface it the photo with a kayaking photo.
No. Yes, I sure did. You just didn't look on my Instagram.
Oh, okay.
It's for true fans only.
Oh my goodness. This is going to be fun this evening. I'm looking forward to getting a word in here and there.
And the other thing, if you're going to be positive and she's negative, does that means I got to be neutral?
Correct.
Ooh,
yes.
Good luck.
Yeah.
That's going to be...
I always want to give you a challenge, dude. Now we're ready to go. You're welcome.
You can switch off once in a while if it's just making you uncomfortable.
Yeah. You can be neutral?
I was watching a lot of Star Trek. Vulcan.
Oh, okay.
I've learned a little bit, but not a lot.
Okay, good, yes.
She'll just curse in Vulcan.
Probably, yes, exactly.
Shut up, Patak.
Ooh, very nice.
That's Klingon. So.
Yeah, that is Klingon. Joe, how have you been?
Good.
I want to talk a little bit about the Labor Day watch party that you went to yesterday. Not the watch party, I guess. What did they call it? The tailgate party?
On the field, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, tailgate on the field. Because obviously with Kayla and I both being in Calgary, we didn't get a chance to experience it. I was actually a little upset because I really wanted to do that 5K walk run where you finish on the field and get to run through the helmet, and I'm like, come on, like you never get to do that. Like that would have been so cool.
Where did it run? Just out of curiosity.
I think it was just around the concourse or around Commonwealth area.
Yeah, I don't think they went into the adjoining neighborhoods. I could be wrong. Somebody from the Eskimos could correct us, but I think because I saw them start in the concourse, and I think they went outside and they may have just run around there. And then obviously there's the rec center there, so I don't know if they did something within the rec center or whatever. But that looked like there was a decent crowd for that run, and I think that might be where the majority of the fans that were maybe at the watch party were. That they actually participated in that run
and then stayed
and watched the game.
Yeah. Which is funny because when they announced the run, that was the first thing I said was, well, if you're going to do the run and have it finished why don't you just have it where the game is on and you'd stay and watch the game? Like,
right.
And then they did it.
You said that a couple weeks ago when they announced that run. Yeah. And but I was a little confused because the website, there was a registration thing.
Okay.
And I didn't know if it was on the same page as the tailgate watch party thing. So I didn't know if you were registering for the watch party or if you're registering for the run.
Oh, okay.
So that's something that the Eskimos might want to like kind of clear up. And I'm not going to say they threw this together haphazardly. It's like it's first time they're doing it.
Yeah.
They're so they're trying to, and it was great. They're going to expand on it. Hopefully they do it again. Hopefully that's the big thing. And
well, they did say first annual, so hopefully this will be something that they do every year.
And I think they did that because they know a lot of fans go down to Calgary for the game, and they realized not everybody can afford to do that. And they do, and I, we talked even off mic that a lot of the actual watch parties are in licensed establishments where no minors are allowed, so not very family friendly. Where there were more people there with kids than there were people without kids.
Nice. Okay.
So, and the kids' age range from like 1 to 2 year olds running around to like there were probably 16, 17-year-old kids running around.
Okay.
So it was definitely a good time. It was they had things for the kids to do, like they had a bouncy castle like obstacle course thing for the kids. I think they have that usually set up outside. It's that football,
the football one.
The football one. Yeah. They had food trucks, a couple of food trucks that were there.
That's awesome. Like to have. Bring in all those things that
instead of having the regular hamburgers that you would get at the stadium, right? They brought in food trucks. They had,
which helps local.
Absolutely, and it was and I've noted I've had the one food truck before, so I knew the food was going to be good to begin with. So
good.
Which ones did they have?
I can't remember. There was an ice cream one. I can't remember the name of it. It was something creamery, and then there was
that sounds good.
And then there was I think it was Street Eats. Streets, I think that's what it's called, and they had they even had things like a lobster roll sandwich or something like that on there. So it was a little
really
you can get anything from like a hot dog and pizza bites, which Mila had, all the way to like things that was like to lobster. Yeah, so it was kind of obviously the price dictated, but it wasn't crazily priced. I think like the lobster thing was like $8 or $9.
No, that's
so
very
for a food truck that's pretty damn good. So. But yeah, they had that, and then
you said they had face painting too.
In the north end zone, usually where they have that sawmill tailgate or not tailgate end zone party during games. In the underneath the tents, they had their balloon guy, that makes balloon animals. That's usually up in the knothole zone. They had the face painters that are always up in the knothole zone on the concourse, and then they had a merch tent, so you can buy merch.
Oh,
they had the tradition.
Did they have the tradition's hat?
They had the hat. They didn't have the shirt though. And I was
that hat is beautiful though.
Yeah.
I'm so getting one.
And then they had an actual beer tent as well where you could walk up, and it was just same prices that you do when you go up into the concourse to buy beer for.
Okay.
So it was they used their staff and did it all, and it was good. And I mean, and then they had the cheer team members were there. There was probably a dozen of them, and they did some shows for us during the intermissions and halftime, and then Chris Sheets was there doing his on field stuff, and it was definitely a good time.
They're actually making it an event. I love that. Because one of the things that I know I've talked about it on the show before, when they talk about, well, how do you bring more people in and want to be part of something that is part of the Eskimos, part of being in a team. And I truly believe that it is about having those events where that kid who's now 6 or 7 goes to this event, has fun, and then is like, oh, there's another game. Like, can I go back? And then, there's a kids club, so you can run on the field just like you did at the tailgate party.
Right.
And really? Like that? Now all of a sudden that next generation is, and then they might get into the game, and you're bringing in those next generation of fans, right?
Yeah, yeah. Exactly.
And events are huge.
My wife, I said, she said on Twitter after the thing, like she hates football yet, but she went and she enjoyed herself.
Good.
So if you're getting somebody that doesn't like football, going to this thing and actually saying they enjoyed themselves, that's half the battle.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
And it definitely beats sitting on your couch watching the game on television as well. It gets you out of the house. It gets you some fresh air. It gets you to
active. You can run around.
I sat literally right on the goal line. Yeah. And I posted a photo of it, and I'm watching it on the big screen at Commonwealth, and then obviously there were the jokes, well, you're the only one in green and gold that made it across the goal line and things like that. So,
not wrong, but
but it still hurts.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But
so it was things like that. So, but yeah, I definitely do it again. I hope they do it again because I'm all for it. And I want to do the run.
Yeah.
I planned on doing the run, but then, just scheduling, it wasn't going to work out for me. But I mean, I would definitely do that run again. And
well, if they're going to do the run next year, I think we'll put a team together of a bunch of us to go do it. And even just as a walk together, I think it would be just
because
so much fun.
They gave you like an official number and everything, right?
Like, I know.
It's like you're in a real marathon.
So much fun. Yeah, those are fun to do, let me tell you. Yeah, you hurt after, but the long ones, 5K is pretty easy. That'll be fun. Yeah, you can do that like half an hour. Easy.
Yeah. Well, if you're running, easily.
No, you can do a walk. Trust me, you could do it.
You can do a walk in half an hour.
You really gotta hoof.
You're doing that
almost
butt wiggle thingy?
Yeah, well, not quite, but close. Yeah. Anyway.
Good, because I didn't need that mental image of you.
You're welcome.
Butt wiggle.
Yeah. Well, you brought it up. It's not my fault. That's all I'm saying. All right. Well, before we get to the Esks News this week's episode of the Eskimo Empire podcast is brought to you by Park Power. They're an electricity and natural gas provider that's right in Alberta and offers low rates, awesome service, and profit sharing with local charities. I mean, who doesn't like that? I'll give some money to a charity. You can choose your energy provider here in Alberta, and it's easy to see how much you can save with Park Power. They have a low overhead, so they find lots of savings for you. You can head to parkpower.ca and plug in your numbers into the savings calculator. It'll tell you exactly how much you're going to save. And if you decide to switch, it's super easy. Nothing changes in your service, just the price you pay. You can check it all out at parkpower.ca. Now, the Esks News, Davaris Daniels was named Player of the Week against the Bombers because he did have that 200-yard passing game. No touchdowns, but 200-yard passing game. So we'll give him that. And T-Sniper was named the Player of the Month for August. Now, that's his second time getting that award this season. He got it for June as well. So that's, I mean, and he is putting up great numbers.
Yep.
We just need the
get
last little bit of those numbers.
We work on an 80-yard field.
Correct. Yeah. Oh, don't say that. That makes it sound like we were in an NFL game in Winnipeg. It's horrible. Now, Trevor Harris did start a kind of a neat thing too, where he's doing $300 for 300. So he called it 300 for 300. So every time that he throws for 300 yards or more, he's donating $300 to the Stollery. I really like that.
That's awesome.
I think it's a really cool
What
plan.
a way to introduce yourself to the community, too, outside of football.
Absolutely.
He was super active in when he was in Ottawa as well.
Absolutely.
And in Toronto as well, from what I understood. So, yeah, no, it's like you said, definitely a good way to introduce yourself to the city and to the community, the football community, saying, hey, like, I'm here for not only to play for your team, but...
Yeah, I'm here to be part of your community, right? Yeah,
absolutely.
And he's genuinely a good dude, so this doesn't surprise me at all. So this is a good one. Now, when the depth chart gets released, we see Arjun is back on the 6th game. Really, really hard to see. I did catch up with him briefly after the game yesterday because he was down to watch, and he said he was out sitting in the stands actually with the Eskimo families. And he said it's an interesting way to watch a game when you're up in because he hasn't watched a game in the stands for a long time,
especially the opposition.
Well, yeah, exactly. But yeah, he's doing okay, and we're looking forward to seeing him back once he gets all healed up. But
what did they say? Lower body? Was
just lower body? Yeah.
Well,
he was limping.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the injury report.
Yeah.
Just like Matt Nichols when you see him holding his shoulder walking off the field. Apparently, he's got an upper body injury.
You don't say. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, diaphragm up, upper body, diaphragm down, lower body. That's all we get to know.
The NHL's no better, but
exactly. No league is. That's what it comes down to it. All right, we got to talk about the game. as hard as it is. Edmonton loses this one 25-9. I was going to say 6, but it was 9.
Yeah.
Right? It's 9.
Please tell me 9.
It was 9. Okay.
An odd number. Remember.
Probably the best part of the game was the tailgate and the flyover, because those were amazing.
What'd you eat at the tailgate?
I actually, when I got down into town about 11:45, and Chad and I met with Paul Reckner over at Tipperary's, the pub. And which, by the way, if you're in Calgary, their appetizer platter is unreal. Oh, we polished most of that thing off. It was very, very good. And we watched the first half of the Eastern game and then made our way over. So by the time I got to the tailgate, I wasn't super hungry. So we just had a couple ciders and hung out a little bit at the Horseman tailgate and visited a bit there, and then Steph took us over to the Dream Team tailgate. It's crazy how they have like these two tailgates and different sides of the stadium, and both of them
so hop in the same parking lot area.
No, it's like two different parking lot areas.
So it's like rival tailgates,
almost. Yeah,
I didn't even know the other one existed.
I didn't either.
So did they do it actually right at the stadium now? Because somebody was telling me before that it was like off site and they had like it was like walking. You have to walk
it's basically right at the stadium,
just so like we do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, so it's I mean it's a lot bigger. Like they've been doing it a lot longer than we have, so it's a lot bigger. But
ours has grown over the few years that we've been doing it. Because I remember when you guys first did it the first year, there was like minimal tents. There's probably like a dozen tents.
Now everybody's got one, right?
Yeah, they're like it's all the way down to the other parking lot almost, right? Like
it's such a fun part of going to a game, and it's one of the things that I do like about going down to Calgary is that tailgate, because you really get hyped and you get to talk to so many people, and they do it right. And I like doing that in any city where I can go and you can actually do tailgating and just kind of be part of that atmosphere and kind of check it out before you go in. So it's kind of good. And
I've never been to an NFL game, and maybe somebody listening to this can obviously chime in to let us know. But the thing with the tailgates down there, I don't know if they're as friendly as they are up here.
Right.
Like,
I've heard some are.
Yeah, it depends. I guess it depends who's playing, right? But I can imagine like a Phillies Giants game isn't going to be overly. Right. The tailgate isn't going to be super nice, but like you would think that like you guys, like the Calgary guys, are coming up here. You said earlier there's going to be like 25 of them.
Yeah.
Coming up here, like that's
a
small convoy, right? Coming up here, and you guys go down there, and they're like, I've heard Ryan numerous times saying, yeah, come down. Anybody can come to our tailgate, and we'll feed you, and we'll give you something to drink and whatever. Like just that alone is pure CFL to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's always fun coming. Like even the last game when the Ottawa game when I was at the tailgate and. You know, you see Ottawa fans intermingling with Eskimo fans, and
you get some Rider fans.
I was going to say, there's always the Rider fans, even when they're not playing. I saw that in Calgary. I'm like, there's them.
Well, and then there's
Ian from BC.
That's what I was just going to say. Yeah, he's always got his BC Lions jersey on, and like we go to Westivus, and it's always. And again, you got Travis Kerr with his Riders, and they're proud of their teams, and that's great. We're all friends, and we all like to give each other,
give each other the gears, but we also understand that we all love the game. That's what it comes down to. We want our team to win, of course,
but we need that partnership for this league to succeed.
Exactly, and we love the game. So I love that part of going down, and it's very fun to meet up with them and give each other jives. And where I was sitting, I actually got the tickets from Deb and Vince, so they were about 8 rows ahead of us. And so whenever Calgary had a big play, they'd stand up and wave at me, and I'd give them the finger. And so it was, it's that. But that part is very fun. But we need to talk about the actual game part. No, with a loss, we usually talk about the bad first. So what would be the big bad on your list?
The big bad.
There, Joe.
I would have to go with the red zone production, as we've been talking about. You guys have been talking about for the last how many weeks on this show?
We should just put that.
That on. You can literally just. We don't have to talk about it because you could just edit it in from like last week or the Montreal game or even the Ottawa game.
Hey, Eddie, what was bad? Yeah, well, he couldn't get to score. No
there
kidding.
you go. Yeah, just take Eddie's take on the whole
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Nope, you're right. It's a huge issue right now. If you take out the Tavon Smith touchdown in the Winnipeg game, which was kind of in garbage time,
absolutely.
The Eskimos have now had 4 games where they haven't scored a touchdown at all in a game out of 11. That's
a quarter.
That
of
is
your,
garbage.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's more than a quarter of your, or a third of your
games.
Yeah,
and you can't.
And yet
have success with that. Yeah.
They're putting up like in those other games. Like I can't remember. I didn't look at the stats. This game I can probably pull them up, but they
only had
all the
200,
other games.
Yeah,
they had 200 some yards, but the other games were like 400 or 500 yards of offense, and it's like, how does that work, right?
It's all between the 80 or it's between the 20s, like you said, 80-yard field, right?
Yeah, it's a little frustrating sitting there as a fan. Even yesterday at the tailgate party thing, people are like getting mad and like just because, and you can hear the disappointment and see, even see when you're sitting there watching the guy in front, like shaking your head, and it's just
some guy pounding on the turf when they didn't get the return touchdown.
That would be me. Yeah. I have to. You have to kind of laugh at it though. At this point, it's purely comedic that this high-powered offense can't put 6 points on the board.
Right.
Like they're there multiple times a game.
Yep.
And the Winnipeg game where I was out of town visiting my in-laws, and I'm sitting on Twitter and I'm like, oh, the Eskimos are in the skip the dishes stalling
dead
zone. Yeah. Because it's like that's what it's going to be. And sure enough, they kicked a field goal.
Yeah.
Like it was the same thing this week. And it's just like it's a little unnerving to see Sean White have things, especially with
Hugh O'Neill
being the guy's being already asked to do 2 other jobs. And I'm not saying Sean can't do the job because we know he can.
Yeah.
But having to put that added responsibility on the guy that's his primary job, but then he's probably tired from having to do those other 2 jobs at the same time. So it is a little. I'm sure he'd rather be going out there kicking a convert than kicking a 40-yard field goal.
He would rather that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and but yeah, it's just little. Like I said, it's just sad at the same time as it is funny. Like, I whenever I see them within the 20 now, I start laughing.
Let's see. Yeah, if you didn't put it in if you didn't throw it from the 40 and get it into the end zone, well, now what are you going to do when you get to the 20?
Don't bother with the first 2 downs. Just go for the field goal
or the 7 for that matter. Because
exactly.
They got that close yesterday. Couldn't quite polish it off.
Really?
So. Yeah, that one drive at the end where they went all 3 downs.
I lost interest. That's why.
And anyway, not so good. All right, Kayla, here we go. What's your bad?
The game.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. Okay.
Especially being in Calgary.
Yeah. I don't. You said it all. Like you can't get touchdowns. You can't win a game on pure field goals, especially if you're playing talented teams. Like,
yes.
What else is there to say? Like, especially taking penalties at really inconvenient, terrible times.
Yeah. Well, when you're getting your first punt return touchdown in 5 years? 4 years?
2015,
right?
Yeah,
so for 4 years. So first time in 4 years. And, like I said, the people at the tailgate party were going crazy.
Yeah.
And then it's called back and you're just like, of course it is.
That glaring orange flag where we're like jumping up and down in the stands. I look over and I'm like, I'm not even surprised.
Not even going to get excited.
Not even surprised.
Yeah. No, I just, and I was sitting there, Chad came down with me and we were sitting and just before he caught the ball, we saw the flag come out and both of us just go, just like watch the whole run back. We're just sitting in the chairs like that's coming back. It's horrible. But anyway, my negative for this one, or my bad, I guess, for this one was, again, this might sound awfully familiar, but we can't stop the run. 200 yards of rushing again for Calgary. Like, that's 2 games in a row where we're giving up 200 yards rushing. I really am starting to wonder if it's just the scheme of the defense is too aggressive and so they're by the guys before they're by the guy before he's taken off running, and so they don't have that spy. They don't have that contain ability. And right now, I would be okay. Granted, we didn't get any sacks on Bill Levi.
No,
but I would be okay to take a few less sacks and be able to have that extra body to stop the run than to just let them run wild and be going. Was it my imagination too? Was this more zone coverage this game? It felt more zone. Or is it was everyone just not sticking to their positions in their man? Because like it just seems like open. You
mean like Baleton being open?
Oh, there he goes, open.
You think maybe you might want to cover that guy after he starts getting
in the middle of the field, 20 yards up, wide open. I wonder what's going to happen. Like Bo Levi's gonna target him. Sure enough, there he.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? That's a fair point, though. I didn't rewatch the game, so I can't say whether or not it's funny because it was just yesterday, and now we're recording, and usually we have a little more time, so I can watch a little more.
Normally, I watch the game too,
but
that's just how it. Yeah. That's how it looked.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's just guys not being in the positions that they were and like not covering their men tight enough, or I don't know. I don't know, but I saw a lot of Larry Dean losing his mind again.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of that.
Enough.
Yeah.
I was like, yelled.
Now, the thing is that this whole not being able to stop the run thing, it hasn't been a season-long problem because we were, I mean, early on in the season, the first 5 games or whatever, we were actually leading the league in yards per game on both, passing and rushing, right? So something, I don't know if it's that other teams have finally figured this defense out and there isn't adjustments being made to accommodate it.
Right.
Or they're just realizing that the way maybe like you guys said that there's too much pressure to get to the quarterback by that front 7, that it's leaving those gaps open and offensive coordinators are picking up on that, right?
Yeah.
So, because you look at that game, which one was it? Was it Ottawa? I think it was, where we didn't get a sack at all.
Yes,
and even
but they contained
the run. They especially in the second half.
Yeah,
and even Lawley came out after and he goes, I applaud my guys for not going after personal accolades to make it better, make the team win, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, you look at the first game in Winnipeg where we held Andrew Harris to 43 yards rushing.
Yeah. Like, I don't even think it was 43. I think he had like 30 something.
Like it was really low.
It was low.
Yeah.
And
then the second
game, he runs wild because they are all running by to try and get at Strevler. Yeah. Right.
But then you look at what Strevler did to us too, right?
Absolutely.
Well, if you can contain the run, like
just
that
would one. Yeah. Huge difference. So. All right, there's lots more bad to talk about, but we're gonna skip off the bad.
It's pretty obvious at this point.
Got any goods?
The yard lines were painted nice and straight.
Yeah.
Perfect. Kayla?
The artificial turf was nice and green.
True. Yes. I know how much you appreciate a nice green turf.
I do, yeah.
Yes.
The goalposts were nice and yellow with little flags on top.
It's true. Yeah.
We're all united in disliking Bradbury. So that's
I don't think he did. He didn't. I was actually shocked at how quick that second half went through, especially with Bradbury, because usually the game would last forever.
Well, no, because you think of Bradbury game, I always set my PVR for 3.5 hours.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Because you never know. But this game, we were walking out of the stadium because the game started at 2:30. We were walking out of the stadium before 5:30. So
thanks for crapping on my good, but that's all right.
Well, no,
hey, don't get me wrong. Al Bradbury is the worst referee in the entire league. We're with you.
Yes.
It's just this game he was actually. And again, I'm not even going to.
Not even say good. Just say.
I can't.
Better.
Better. Yeah. The problem that I have.
Average instead of crap.
Now, I understand that the head referee's job is to go out there and he's the eyes on all the fans. So when the guy over there is making the call, it's not Al Bradbury's not watching the entire thing.
Right.
But as a head ref, you're supposed to also decide whether the play actually, the penalty was valid or whatever. Now, the eye in the sky being more active this year is good, and there's been a lot of corrections. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just certain refs like Bradbury, things tend to be corrected or more noticeable.
Right.
That they're not right. There's more challenges by the coaches in his games than other.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, but I don't like blaming the head referee. Again, he's just the face of the entire reffing crew.
You want to take it's like Moss. He's taking the heat because he's the head of the game.
Yeah, but
he's the head of the team. So same goes with the refs. Sorry,
Yeah.
it works the same way, in my opinion.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to be the face.
So now that we ruined your Bradbury thing, now you ruined mine. So
Exactly.
We're even nice. I do have 2 goods. One is Matt O'Donnell's return playing left tackle. I thought he did outstanding.
Yeah, because I even think the one sack I saw came from the opposite side.
Absolutely, it did.
Right.
That goes back into bad, so we're going to stay in the good. But I thought he played very well. The offensive line, because they haven't had that consistency week over week, is not opening holes for CJ Gable. So, but Matt O'Donnell held down that left tackle spot very well, which is not. I mean, he regularly is guard, so I'll give him a lot of credit for that.
He's a force.
And Natea J had a great game.
He led the team in
he did.
receiving.
Yeah, 53 yards. That was our leading receiver.
Got cut in half again and still survived.
And still got up. And when we talked to him after the game, that's my first question. I'm like, how are you? He's like, I'm actually okay right now. I have a feeling today, not feeling quite so great.
Yeah, I think there's going to be the ice packs there all
holy
over the body.
man, that was quite the catch. I mean, beautiful catch, but the fact he hung on after he got folded in half.
Well, same thing happened just like last month in August when he played in Calgary.
Crazy. Yeah, so he's really just doing everything he's been asked to do.
When was it you guys had your mid-season awards?
That was
a couple of weeks ago.
It was 2 weeks ago.
You're right.
Yep.
Oh yes, 2 weeks.
And as I was listening to that show, I was like thinking, like, as you guys are, who's your your top offensive, who's your top defensive, and then you got to the Canadians, and I can't remember who said it. I think it might have been you.
Sure was.
And it's not. He's Natea has really come out. He's kind of that dependable check down now as well for the quarterback, right?
Yep.
Like
right.
where I think Moss and that have finally realized like this guy is a very capable receiver, and it's obviously nice to have that Canadian content, but you can't always look for like CJ Gable out of the backfield. You always, because I've noticed that Nate's, a lot of his plays are that little dumps.
The check down.
Yeah, those 5-yard dumps, and he'll get you 6 or 7 yards, or he'll get you that first down if he needs to. And there was a couple in yesterday where he fought for those extra yards.
Yeah,
and
he sure
was
did.
diving for them with the ball.
First down,
yeah.
Right,
and didn't lose the ball.
Yeah. So that was good. Yeah, no, I'll give him some credit there. So. I do have one what the fire trucker, and that is why is the Dream Team tailgate on a hill? Because I hate hills. I don't know if you're aware of that. It is. It's like the whole time I'm trying to balance on this side hill. I'm like, come on, guys, we need to be out in the parking lot. What is going on here? I'm gonna fall. I know this is not good. Yeah,
especially after a few beers. Like,
yeah, come on. What's the hill? Anyway,
it's Calgary.
It's fine anyway. Do you have a player of the game?
For us?
Yeah. Yeah, we tried.
I could cheap out and say Sean White, since he got all of our points.
That's fine.
That's not a cheap out. That's pretty true.
That's pretty true.
No, I think I'll go with Natea J because he was really our only consistent receiver, right? Like, I mean, even Ricky Collins' yards, most of his came on one catch. Right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
So, but I mean, yeah, he's pretty much the only consistent guy that was on the field yesterday. Yeah, for me at least.
I agree.
And I think I already know what yours is going to be, so I'll just echo Joe because I always pick Tay. And wasn't he my player to watch?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, Tay.
Yeah.
You heard.
It's good. Yeah, it's a good pick.
Well, then I'll just I'll rebuttal and just say Sean White since you got Tay. I'll just say the Sean.
All right, then.
Or the White.
Okay.
Or the kicker. Whatever he is now.
The guy that scores all the points.
The guy that scores the points.
Yes.
That guy.
All the points. Yeah. How many points does Sean White score this year? All of them.
All of them.
That's
all
right.
All the points.
That's right. All the points. I was going to go with a J too, so that's...
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to go with O'Donnell.
No, I was going with a J. Okay. So he really stood out to me this game. So, all right, let's take a really quick break. We will come back with our CFPN game preview and this week's pick'ems and fantasy picks.
This is AJ Gass, and you're listening to the Eskimo Empire Podcast.
Welcome back from not going anywhere. This week, before we get into more stuff, I want to direct you to the Tight Ends podcast. Vanda claims she doesn't know a lot about football, but she knows a tight end when she sees one. She has hilarious conversations with her guests and talks mostly NFL fantasy, but definitely some football, and touches on some Stamps news here and there. And she has a few episodes where she's had a number of the APN hosts on, and most recently had one where she had a bunch of icebreaker questions, and it was outstanding. Check out her show at thetightendspodcast.com, and of course all the other great shows on the Alberta Podcast Network.com. All right, our CFPN game preview. It is the Labor Day rematch. It is the biggest game on the Eskimo schedule as far as a home game is concerned every regular season. Everybody wants to get out to this one. And it's going to be an exciting game. Of course, it starts at 5 o'clock. So the tailgate will be open somewhere around 2 to 2:30. We are going to have some special guests at the tailgate. We have the whole dream team from Calgary is coming up. Wowza. We have tacos in a bag. We have... what was the boozy cupcakes again? Oh, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And we also have gluten-free Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And we also have Rice Krispie Squares with extra smooshies. So make sure that you are coming down to the tailgate, and let's be a part of this. Grab a ticket. The Eskimos need all of us fans getting loud for them.
And it's the last game for kids to get in for free.
Absolutely. And you still have the $22 ticket. So
and it's family day, too.
And it is family day. That's right. It's family day as well.
It's going to be all more kid-friendly, family-friendly activities.
Is that the Disney?
Yeah, there's.
Whatever.
I think they're having like Spider-Man and Iron Man and Paw Patrol,
of course. Yeah,
and they're going to throw in a bunch of other activities for kids that they.
Yeah, so it'll be geared towards kids. So so make sure that you are headed out to the game. Let's talk about our Uncle BD stats moment. So he told me about attendance and how attendance is such a big deal, especially in this Return Classic. Now we've had 10 games of the Return Classic that have been over 50,000 people, and the Eskimos are 7-3 in those games. So the crowd makes a difference. In 2003, there was 62,000 people there, and it was actually the second highest attended game ever.
62,000?
Correct.
Wow.
Yes.
You weren't at that game?
And the Eskimos
I
won.
wasn't in football yet.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez,
the Eskimos won that game 38-0.
That game was the loudest game I was ever at until the 2015 West Final.
Absolutely.
Oh, that was,
absolutely.
Wait, sorry, what was that? 2007, you said?
2003.
Oh, yes, that was
that was the 37.
That was 38-0.
38-0
Yeah.
Against Calgary.
Same team every time. Yes.
Yes. No.
For the last
I
90 years.
I completely forgot about our Labor Day talk. I was
right.
not football.
What game are you watching again?
Yes. Yeah.
Who knows?
That's a fair question now, and
it is a fair question.
I ask myself that every week when I listen. What game is Kayla watching this week?
Yeah, that's good.
Sadly, I did watch this one.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You had no choice because you were there.
Right. I did have a choice, actually. I lost interest in the last couple of minutes.
We noticed. In 2002, they had 61,481 people for the Eskimos to win 45-11. So the 29 rematch games that we've had, in total, there has been 1.3 million people who have come to watch these games, which averages out to 46,293. If we could pull out 46,000 for this game, it makes a huge difference for the guys.
I want to be at a game where there's 63. Holy
it's
cow.
Ridiculous. It's so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah, even like the Grey Cups that have been here, and even, 2010? They were,
Yeah, that one was sold out. It was massive. Yeah.
Was that before they changed the seats? Or
I believe so, yes.
Right? So, I mean, it was still that's crazy, but it wasn't even as loud. Like the Calgary, and then there was a Saskatchewan game a few years ago, too, that was like 60,000 almost, too.
Right.
And it was just a regular season game. And those games are ridiculously loud. Like, it's fun to be in the stand. But
the electricity is just unreal, right?
And, it's so different, because even the last game when it was raining and stuff, like, I was on field, and it was still pretty loud. But the game that who was here? Was it Fred Stamps? I think it was the Fred Stamps. Yes. Yeah, I was just like, man, I'm getting hyped up, and I'm not even playing. Like,
when Kenny got that touchdown.
Oh yeah. It makes such a difference. I was just like, woo! I was electrified. So imagine like how the players, it actually does affect them.
And that's
Don't
the
lie
thing
to
is
us.
somebody, one of your guests said, I don't know if it was Eddie or maybe it was Justin Sorensen when he was on, that said that like when we can hear every single thing.
Yeah.
Like we can hear the guy in row 52 on the upper deck screaming at us. Like it's like they hear us when we're down. Like even though we're so much further than stadiums like Saskatchewan or Winnipeg or whatever. Like, but they hear us. It does
filter down most definitely.
Yeah. And you said that on when you were. I think it was the Fred Stamps thing. Like
it was crazy,
super loud. Yeah,
oh, so I could have stayed down there all game.
So yeah, pack the house. It's helpful. It helps our team. So be there and support them. Now, we didn't bring in a podcaster this week just because it is a short week.
And I was expecting...
I'm sure you were, but, you know...
They're there.
Hey, he's too chicken.
Trust me, he's still gloating. It's fine. And he should be at this point.
He didn't interact with me at all on Twitter this week. Well, I was very disappointed in his smack talk.
Oh, well... Trust me,
trash talking.
It's all coming. It's all
Ryan
coming for you. Yeah.
Trash talking.
It's not a video podcast. You're doing air quotes every time. People can't see it. You know that, right?
I think they get the emphasis in my
tone.
It's good tone.
I know how to emphasize.
Emphasis.
Very good emphasis on the right syllables. Yes, very good. As always, though, of course, follow and listen to all the great shows on the Canadian Football Podcast Network at cfpodnetwork.ca. So let's talk about the ESK side. Keys to victory. That was the exact response that I wanted. Well done. Okay.
I don't know why.
I'm going to do that, you know, that gif of the guy finger pointing and be like, oh, wait a minute. We all know the answer.
You think? Okay.
More Sean White field goals. That's what we're all thinking, right?
That's what I was thinking. 8 Sean White field goals.
I want that. I want him to get that record this year.
Yeah?
At this point.
What is the record?
The record is 7. He. I don't know if and Uncle BD can obviously confirm it. I know he either holds the record or is tied the record for the team.
Okay.
Well,
CFL record, because I looked it up. I think it was after that Winnipeg game. I looked it up. The CFL record is 8.
8.
In a game in multiple, there's like 3 or 4 kickers that have done that.
So I think we should just get to the 30 and then just have him just get field goal over and over. Right. Get 9 field goals. And then
get the CFL record, get the team record.
That's right. And 9 times 3, 27. That
and then he'll be up to 40.
Possibly.
Yeah, there'll be 27 points.
Yeah. Perfect.
Right? Because Calgary only scored 25 last game.
That's right. So then we win. Yeah. Perfect. I like this. This is a great plan.
Who needs Jason Moss? We can do this.
Who needs anybody else, apparently?
Who needs offensive coordinators?
Sean White's like, my leg's going to die, you guys. Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
But you'll win the title.
All right. I do like this. I like this plan, though. It's great. Yeah. Any other keys to victory that might actually be a little more?
Score a touchdown.
You don't say.
Maybe more than one.
If you guys, I'm going to mention it on here too because I retweeted it. But if you haven't followed Reed Wilkins, please go back and listen to his love letter to the end zone, which is outstanding. It was very, very well done. And yes, we definitely need to score some points. Anything else, Kayla?
I think at this point we've said absolutely everything that they need to fix.
I will do the weekly mic thing and say, run the damn ball.
That's good. Yeah, that's very good.
And I'm not saying they haven't tried because Calgary's just figured out a way to stop them, but it's just for that.
How about run somewhere other? Mike texted me this earlier. Run somewhere other than between the tackles.
Yeah, and we understand CJ's
on the outside.
We understand CJ's that kind of back that just likes to run over people. But
then run over a linebacker on the outside of the tackles.
Because when you see CJ, even on those dump passes, when he gets the ball in the open, he makes people miss.
Yeah. Right. So,
and I'm not saying he can't make it miss because there was that run against Ottawa or whatever it was a few weeks ago where he
bounced off.
He made
Bruno swing in air.
He made Bruno look like a tackling dummy. Yeah. But it definitely, that's the thing. But that's where those, the Shaq Cooper is a much different back. But unfortunately, we can't have both guys on the roster, right?
It'd be nice to have that Thunder and Lightning setup. Yeah.
But then, unfortunately, unless you're going to put them both in that backfield at the same time, so then it makes the defense think who it is. if it's CJ, it's probably going up the gut. If it's Shaq in the back, you're going to go around. It's probably going to be a sweep.
Is it just a numbers thing for like the Canadians?
The rosters, it's
rosters,
hard.
yeah.
It's a roster thing. It's hard to get that extra, especially with the injuries that we've been having.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's been hurting a lot of our nationals. So it's like you got to fill that national spot more than.
Yeah. Oh, it's a huge deal. I'm going to go kind of with what you said, but on the other side, how about stop the run?
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry so much about the sack, but let that play come to you and just take that running back down. Like if he's only getting 3 yards a carry and they have to go second and long a little more often, maybe that helps out, right? Would have definitely helped out against Winnipeg.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
When they were constantly in 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3, well, it's pretty easy to convert those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plug the holes.
Anyone else that you got another key? No.
Just win, please.
All right. I like that.
Well, we could do the weekly also stop with the stupid penalties at the most inopportune times.
We could.
Last game wasn't that bad.
I was going to say they didn't have that many the last game.
But it's just, again, weird. At the time. The timings.
Like we've said a couple times already on the Periscope and on this podcast about the kick return, that hold. Like
absolutely.
A hold is pretty easy to not do. But I understand, again, if you're trying to block a guy from getting him, it's going to probably happen, right? And it's all it's all the ref's interpretation of whether it is a hold or not as well. So
very much so. Yep. Very much so. And a lot of those calls are not going to go our way right now.
Yeah.
So so got to be careful with that. Which player are you watching this week? Start with you this time, Kayla.
Well, you know what? Actually, since I've seen just a lot of leadership and frustration from him, but again, not being able to stop the run as much as in the secondary, but I'm going to be watching Larry Dean.
All right. That's a good pick.
Hoping.
Hopefully.
You
like make new words.
Hoping that
Kayla-ism.
Shut up.
That's the name of the show. Hoping for more.
Hoping for more points.
That's right. That's right.
For me, I was going to say pretty much that entire linebacking core because of what you said about stopping the run. I think because Kadeem Carey had like a ridiculous average yesterday. It was
9 yard average.
8 or 9 yards. Yeah, it was something stupid. So stop that run because yesterday it seemed it was one of those games where our defense was on the field longer than it needed to be in a lot of situations. So
absolutely.
They've gotten tired, and when you're not stopping the run and you're getting, you're tired, you're not going to be able to, stop it, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely try to stop that run, that whole linebacking core, and we've said a couple times just in the last few minutes, even just that don't always go for that sack, right? Just plug those holes.
Yeah, exactly.
Things like that.
Huge deal. Let's see. Who am I going to be watching this week?
Sean White.
No. We get to see him no matter what. So I don't have to say I'm going to watch him.
Ryan King.
Now we're talking. Wait, that means a lot of punting. I'm not sure I'm big on that.
Or converts.
Oh, converts. I like those. Yeah. I think this game, I'm going to focus in a little bit on Ricky Collins Jr. to have a little bit of a bounce back game. This last game, he had the one that went off his hands that turned into an interception. He had the one drop.
The touchdown. The potential touchdown that was defended.
Yeah, that was a great defensive play.
Yeah, and that's the thing is Calgary's DBs in the game were doing great. So I'm not going to take it.
Yeah, Amos had a major play on that. But the other part of it, and I really noticed it this game, was that when we're throwing that swing pass, the other receiver, you have to block downfield. Mm-hmm. Like if you're just going to let the guy by, then we're not going to get anywhere, right? So I really want to see, and Ricky Collins has got to be part of that.
Yeah.
We need to be, if they're going to throw that swing out to Tavon, then you need to block.
Yeah, I can. Again, it's easy as a fan that's sitting on their couch or in the stands watching to say that. And as a player, I don't know if it's like I can't imagine a 200-pound linebacker or a DB full padded running at me, and I got to stop the guy from hitting the guy behind me.
Yeah,
but that's also what you get paid to do, right? Like if it's the scheme that's being called, the play that's being called.
Run up and get ready to engage him as soon as that pass is thrown, right? You know what the play is. So get up on him. Don't let him come to you.
To me, Ricky Collins doesn't look like a very big guy. Like obviously he's a physically fit athlete, but he doesn't look like a very big guy compared to some of the other guys, some of the other receivers, right? That we have, right?
If I may.
Yes, you may.
I think those boys should start watching Star Trek, and this is why.
Here we go.
So they can learn to call plays in Klingon?
No.
That would be cool.
But that would be awesome.
That would throw people off.
Could you imagine that you don't have to have all the sun blockers like Calgary had to block off of?
See,
anyway,
but this is also coming back to, you got to find that inner Klingon.
Yes.
And you got to get that temper and death to the competition no matter what.
That's what they need.
So kill all the players.
Yes. With a bat left. Yes.
I'm sure that'll reduce the penalties for sure. Like easy.
You just got to find that.
A lot of unsportsmanlike. Though.
Yeah, pay me a couple.
Well, we're already getting penalties, so you might as well.
Just tear a guy too. What?
There was that game back in the day called Mutant League Football.
Absolutely, that was great. That was so much fun. Yeah, I love that one.
So I mean, it just
Use
be
your
like
inner
that.
temper, man.
Yeah, no, I would agree. So the
no, sorry, I had another one.
Oh,
sorry.
did you have one more?
No. I had another things that we need to work on or do keys to the game.
Yes.
For the offensive, maybe get a little less conservative and throw a deep ball every once in a while. Try. Yes,
the one
Joe?
thing that I've seen a few fans on Twitter say is that Jason Moss is a little tentative on his third down gambling, right? Like he's not as assertive even on second down when we're in that red zone and we need that
past 10.
Yeah, we need more than 5 yards to go for that. Like either he's looking for that short dump pass just to get the first down, and it's obviously easy. If we're sitting we're inexperienced fans sitting at home watching this. If we see it, obviously the professional defensive coordinator on their side of the field.
We'll see that. Yes.
Yeah.
So I've seen a few fans say like he's got to be more assertive, and even on some of these like throwing a little. No, we haven't seen a lot of trick plays from the Eskimos, and I know that's not Jason Moss's big thing. That's Mike O'Shea's big thing.
Right.
But,
yes. Exactly.
You could learn a few things.
But that's the thing is like, I'm not saying Winnipeg doesn't. They don't succeed every time, but it throws like they had a trick play in the game where a fake punt that got him. It was like third and a long 2.
Yep.
And
they got it.
They got it, right? Like, because they weren't ready for it. So, I mean, things like that, you got to, if you're going to be kicking a field goal, I'd rather, as a fan, see them go and try something.
Especially when you need it. You need that.
Yeah, you need that boost, right?
Yeah.
You need that confidence.
You can't do it all the time, but hey.
No, but
pull one out here and there. Yeah.
But even if you're on the 20-yard line, like, try something a little that's maybe out of your comfort zone.
Right.
And just because it may be that the players, the whole offense as a whole to gel, just need that confidence boost to get that one play, even if it's for a first down.
Yeah.
That's all they may need to get over that hump to get in the end zone, right?
Gives them some confidence.
And it's obvious that the other team is reading these play calls because they can't get those first downs on a regular basis, or
they can't get into the end zone when they're in the red zone.
Yeah,
right?
the first downs that actually not matter but count a little bit more than the other ones, and that's what's
okay to throw it in the end zone. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, the other thing that I've noticed too, and I don't know if it's because of the way, as you like to call him, T. Snipes plays.
Yes.
Is that he's like a 1-2 throw quarterback as compared to what as compared to what we've seen Riley in the last 5 or 6 years, where he's hold the ball, and then go for that deep ball because we got to let the players get down there. Yeah. But maybe. I'm not saying I like the way Trevor Harris plays more than a Mike Riley. Like, I like seeing that ball get out of there because it explains why he's only been sacked 4 or 5 times this year.
He's got to get back to that 1-2 out.
But it also doesn't allow you to go for that deep ball.
Right.
Well, and this is even a deep ball doesn't even mean like friggin' 60 yards. At this point, it means anything past 10.
But the fact of the matter is that even when he was doing 1-2 throw, we had that big bomb to Ellingson in week 2, right? You have the
but even little plays like Natea Jays in BC where he was a little screen pass out to him, and the receiver did the rest of it because, as you said previously, the other receivers blocked.
They did.
The linemen got up there and blocked, and
they got to have some of that. Yeah, they got to execute those things. So I would agree. Yeah,
and this team's been promoting that we're a one team and we're all together and we do it for each other this year. Which, as you said on previous episodes this season, that last season or the last few years, it didn't seem that the team was like that.
Right.
And I think that's what I've seen the last few games is that this team is kind of falling apart in that aspect. So I don't know what they have to do to get back that mentality they had in the first third of the season, but
they need to go bowling again.
Bowling or
I'll supervise.
Maybe get some of those, safe lawn darts or I don't know.
safe lawn darts.
Oh my
Maybe
goodness,
they need a little rough lawn dart.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Maybe that can come into play for you and your kill the opponent. Just start throwing lawn darts at them.
Yeah. Be perfect. Yeah. Can we just play lawn darts instead? All right. Well, let's get a prop bet on the Eskimos side of the ball. So we usually ask our guest to pick the line, or not the line, the stat. But you can pick the line too if you like. So, because that's what Eddie did last week. So I think it's funny when they pick the line as well. So what do we got for a stat this week?
I'm going to go with Shaun White field goals.
Well, that's an interesting choice.
I wonder why. What could have prompted this?
It's an odd prop bet, but no, I'm kidding. That's perfect. Okay, do you want to set the line? Or?
Sure, I'll go with 3.5.
That's a fair line right there. I believe you looked up the stats.
He has 35 field goals in 11
games. So it would be right around, the average would be 3.5. So, all right, Kayla, what are you going to do? Over, under 3.5?
Since it's a home game, we'll probably see more than 9 points. But you never know. But I'll just say over because you told me to be more positive, and this is as much as I can give you.
Okay, I like that. All right, then. Are you going to go over under, Joe?
I'm actually going to go under.
Okay.
I think that we may score a touchdown today.
Today?
So, well, maybe today.
Whoa,
maybe today because we're not actually having a game. That's true, yeah.
Maybe they could spot us some points. That might help.
That might be helpful. Yeah, it would be okay if they would do that. Okay.
Hopefully.
All right, then. I did ask Superfan, and he is going with the under because he sees 3 field goals. I hope he sees more points than that, but he does see 3 field goals. I am going to go with the over on this one. I think that there'll be lots of field goals.
Yeah, hard time getting to the end zone again. And
yeah. Few more kicks from Sean. All right.
Hey,
so we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Last week, the under was definitely the payout, and we all picked over. So we were all wrong because it was CJ Gable rushing yards for 80. Yeah, didn't really pan out.
Not
there.
even close.
I just hope that this week it's more of a battle of Alberta and not a skirmish of Alberta. Like that's really what I'm hoping.
Like
there was a little feistiness on a few of the plays I saw.
I know,
players
but that's what I mean. It was like just you play D&D. It was a skirmish. It was not a battle.
It was just like throwing a fireball and killing everything. And
my type of game.
Exactly.
The one thing
exactly your kind of game.
The one thing I will say that I noticed when watching the game yesterday was that there were a lot of when all of that little, that little after the play stuff was going on. Mm-hmm. A lot of other players were getting in there and pulling guys out.
Yes, that was happening a lot
which is a lot better than what was in previous games that, that would cost us a 15-yard penalty or whatever. Right. So
Yeah, the only 15-yard penalty we got yesterday was offset by a Calgary one. So that we'll take some solace in that.
Well, you can tell it wasn't a battle of Alberta because no Calgary fan was bugging us. I think they actually felt bad for us. We were just like sitting in the stands like
they can't. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is
Come on.
our team.
It'll be better. All right, let's talk about the pick'ems for the rest of the league. Now, in our pick'em league, Tina Banshee is still holding down first.
Boo, Tina.
Oh, she's awesome.
I know.
Mike is in 14th, and I'm in 41st. So I'm really moving up the ranks.
Weren't you 43rd last week?
Yep. And I got, but I went 3-0 this week, so that was great. I like that pause. Yes, I picked Calgary to win.
You said we weren't okay.
On here, I could not.
I only went 1 and 2. I went 1 and 2 this week because I picked Toronto and Edmonton.
Oh, all right. Wow, that was a little rough. Yeah.
Just follow my lead.
Although I was almost 0 and 3 until.
Exactly, yeah, until they snuck out at the end there. All right, so games this week. First one, Friday night. BC is in Montreal to play the Alouettes. So Mike Riley can get sacked in French a whole bunch of times.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Exactly. Who do you got in this game there, Joe?
I always want to say I hope both teams lose, but It's hard to really pick against Montreal right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what Kahari Jones has done to that team, but he's definitely turned it around.
Motivated them.
Yeah. It makes it fun to watch, and obviously, you got Vernon Adams doing his thing, and you got Stanbacks back in the lineup, and
Jeremiah Johnson is great as a
second guy.
And they've
got that. What's his first name? Last name's Bray, the one receiver there.
Quan Bray.
Quan Bray, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I mean, he's kind of emerged as a good threat, deep threat for them. So I mean, it's going to be tough not to pick Montreal in this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not BC.
So Montreal.
I mean, he just said everything that Montreal is, and
Kayla wants BC to go 1-17.
Oh, wow.
I don't want any team to suck that bad. Yeah. But the truth of the matter is that they just do.
That's a good point, yeah. Well, they did sack their offensive line coach, so like that. Let's see how that works. All right, Mike picked Montreal, and I am picking Montreal as well for all things that were already said. Next game, Toronto versus Ottawa. This one in Ottawa. Ottawa coming off the bye week. Toronto coming off a very close game on the Labor Day game. At least the first half, anyway. Kayla?
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
That's my question.
It's great. Great question. Yeah, exactly.
No rematch?
No, because of the 9 teams and having to balance off all the other games, the one team is always getting that.
Because of the rematch 9 teams, we always have a few weeks a year where there's three teams off
the
on
extra bye week too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that screws things up. So hopefully, when and if the Schooners come in,
then there'll be
a few more rematches on the.
And they should have 4 games on Labor Day weekend, and then a rematch at least 2 or 3 of them the next week. So,
I still reiterate, not fun.
Not fun. No, not fun. But Hamilton is on a bye this week. See, so that's the thing.
Oh, I see.
Yes, so
clearly because that's why they're not playing rematch.
I think they keep the only ones that are rematches on the calendar are the Edmonton, Calgary, Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, because
the prairies.
The Banjo Bowl, the Battle of Alberta, because it's just. Like the Banjo Bowl, especially Skirmish of Alberta. The Banjo Bowl, especially now after it was coined the Banjo Bowl, right? So they make sure that it's because a lot of people travel.
Teams.
Yeah, exactly.
The good teams.
All right, Toronto versus Ottawa. Kayla?
I'm actually going to go with Toronto.
Are you?
I have no explanation, but I just haven't picked them in a while, and that is why.
All right, that's fair.
Is it? I don't know.
That's great. Yeah,
she likes blue.
Mike picked Toronto as well to win over Ottawa, and I don't know. I'm having a hard time with this one because
it's a wishy-washy game.
And you just don't know. Ottawa coming off a bye. You know what? I'm going to give it to Ottawa. It's in Ottawa. They're coming off a bye. They're starting Jonathan Jennings. Come on,
former 5,000-yard passer.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I wish him all the
plus
best.
I suck at pick 'em, so I'm picking Ottawa.
Oh,
okay.
He's hoping to move up to 40th this week.
Yeah.
Ooh. You're just talking like gold chains.
I don't even know where I am, and you're going to have to look here and see.
I haven't looked, but you're higher than me.
I think everybody's higher than you.
Quite likely, yes. No, you're not.
I'm non-existent.
Toronto versus Ottawa, Joe?
I have Toronto because I like blue like Kayla.
Okay, perfect.
I don't know. I
think actually I have to look. I might have actually picked Toronto now that I think
their
about it.
Their turf traditions were awesome.
Their turf traditions.
Their uniform.
I see. Yes. Okay.
Out of those, I want a Argos one and I want a Bombers one.
Oh yeah, the Bombers one.
I like the Bombers. The Bombers have that funky logo.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Yeah, that's an okay one. I did pick the Argos on pick 'em, but I'll change it to Ottawa.
For the record, I'm 33rd in your guys' group.
So I am higher than you. So you're higher than me. Not hard to do. Last game, Saskatchewan versus Winnipeg, the Banjo Bowl, happening, of course, in Winnipeg as they return. And Mike has Winnipeg in this game. I don't remember. What did I pick? I'm glad that I picked these early so I can remember. I picked Saskatchewan to win again. Cody Fajardo finds a way down the field and they win. And of course, because I suck at pick-up,
I
probably don't want to pick that. But I'm going with Saskatchewan. Joe?
I have Winnipeg.
All right. Excellent.
I
Kayla?
am also choosing the peg.
Are you?
Clearly because I don't think that this team likes to lose, and it's going to help us because it keeps the West more interesting.
And she likes blue.
And I dislike that green, so yes.
Nice. I dislike that green. Wonderful. All right, CFPN Fantasy League. I move up to 10-2 as I beat out Safamod this week from Piffle's podcast. Mike loses another one, unfortunately, to Travis Cura. So as good as he is in Pick'em, that's what I do in fantasy. This week, I'm getting Ryan from Canadian Football Countdown, who is in second, has been cleaning up lately and is trying to catch me. So it's going to be a very, very interesting battle. He's been making some great picks, so I'm excited about that. Mike gets the back half of the 2 and Out podcast as he goes Travis Cura to Brazilian tie this week. So we shall see how that works.
The way you worded that makes it sounds like
it was on
like
purpose,
they're at two, you know, like
human centipede.
Well, no, not. Well,
oh God, that's not what we said at all.
I wasn't. You now have to put this explicit rating on this episode. No, I was going to say like a horse costume where, you know, Travis is the front half of the horse and Ty is the back end.
It's
either way, it's not a nice place to be.
It's just more funny. Yeah, that's really what it is. Yeah.
Or human centipede, if that's the kind of stuff.
No, I really think we need to stop saying that. Okay.
Happy dreams, everybody.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. When I fire trigger that. No, I'm going to leave it. Okay. Oh my! Well, the league's been a blast. All right, so in the Eskimo Empire Podcast League, I've moved up to second. I am 1.4 points out of first. But first, we have a new leader this week who is Povey29. Well, I'm not sure who that is, but well done. Probably. Yeah, probably DeVere.
Because he listens to the podcast.
Absolutely, yeah. He's a big fan. That's which is great. And Mike is, still playing. That's just what we're going to go with. All right. Thank you for playing, Mike. We love playing you, Mike. Yeah, it's fun. Well, this is fun. Thank you guys for coming down and getting some things off of our chest and trying to maintain some positivity in there as much as we possibly could. Joe, tell everyone, if they don't already know, where they can find you on Twitter and interact with you.
I'm on Twitter at Balaneski, Balaneski, and I think it was Morley Scott says if I'm on Facebook, but I really don't do anything there, and I don't, accept people's invites unless you've asked me over for dinner. So.
Oh, yeah, fair.
That's a good way to do it. I like that rule. Yeah, it's a good rule. Kayla?
At Duchess Lombardi, and don't come looking for me on Facebook because I will not accept you, even if you have me over for dinner.
Go to her Instagram where you can see her pee her pants.
Nope.
It's privated. It's privated.
Yes.
Those things are no longer public.
You don't say.
Only for close friends.
You should also follow the show's photography account.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
She's really good at it.
Esk Empire Photography.
Yeah.
Esk Empire Photo.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But it's more of like everything, not so key on football. It's
everything. Yes, but you're part of the crew, and the people should be looking at those.
Yes,
they're
just
amazing.
saying if you want, like, strictly.
Kayla's really good at pointing a camera and taking photos.
It's true.
She's very good at that. Yes.
Watch out.
Yes.
That's my competition.
Wonderful. All right. Make sure you guys are following Pay It Forward with Football on Facebook and get those nominations into Quentin and Samantha. They had a big announcement this past week as they are sending someone to the Grey Cup as part of Pay It Forward with Football. And it's the full deal. It's go down, hotel, get to the game, the whole experience. Wow. So I'm so happy that they were able to do this. And they told me a few weeks ago, but I was just glad the announcement finally came out, and everything they're doing is outstanding. So follow Pay It Forward with Football. Make sure, of course, you check out all the great shows on the Alberta Podcast Network at albertapodcastnetwork.com. That's right. And make sure you find us on all of our social channels. You can find all the links on eskempire.ca. We will be back next week to hopefully talk about something other than field goals. Maybe a touchdown. Maybe. Come on.
Possibly.
Okay, good. We'll be back to talk. Anyway, we'll be back to our regular time on Monday night. So, is it time to score a touchdown?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
There we go. That's what I'm excited for. For Joe, Commissioner Kayla, and of course, Superfan Mike, I'm Andrew. Remember, you can't catch footballs with your face, and we will absolutely talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening. Find more great shows like this at CF Pod Network on Twitter.